everyone, and welcome back and happy Valentine's Day. This Valentine's Day weekend, we have a lot of seeds to start. Normally, I would be starting my tomatoes this weekend. However, with it being so cold and last year we were still super cool coming into June, that I decided to push them back a couple of weeks. However, I will say I had an absolutely amazing harvest. Even though they were stunted maybe just a little bit, or they were a little bit too big inside here, and it was extremely difficult to harden off like 3-foot tall indeterminate tomatoes. I had so many, it was insane. I was basically, oh my gosh, it's actually snowing right now. I'm just looking outside. It is cold. It was supposed to be sunny, and it is just this gloomy, cloudy day. And yeah, I guess now it's snowing for whatever reason. I'm sick of the snow, you guys, but seed starting makes me super happy. So we have 3 different varieties today. I'm kind of going off of my scheduled. I can't find my Gumfrina. I was going to start that a little bit earlier this year because it was such a slow start last year, but I got the new sequin variety from Johnny's and I have no idea where I put it. So we're going to try and find that and maybe start that tomorrow. But today we are starting some Yarrow a little bit earlier. I want to get some good established plants. I have Veronica, which I am trying for the first time. That is a perennial and is cool hardy to my zone. So I'm excited about that, to get another line spiked flower into my landscape and also to use for my cut flowers. And we are also starting Sweet Williams. I have some of the Amazon series. I planted some biennials last year, so hopefully those will come up this year. If not, at least hopefully the Amazon series, since it's supposed to bloom its first year, we're getting that started. We'll hopefully have some of those beautiful colors as well. And hey, if you're new here, my name is Christy. I am located in Western Massachusetts, Zone 6A, and I am starting a lot of flowers this year, a lot of new varieties as well to sell at my roadside flower stand. I am heading into my 2nd year selling cut flowers, and this is also going to be my 3rd year with vegetables. So as I mentioned, tomatoes we are normally doing, but tomorrow we will be starting some peppers. Not as many as last year, but we will definitely be starting peppers. I love starting vegetables, so I'm happy to get some of those into the mix as well, because I'm going to hopefully plan out a little series just with growing vegetables in containers this year, since I am giving up all of my vegetable real estate for my cut flowers, except for my cattle panels. Those will still have my cherry tomatoes, but I'm going to rearrange things with the vegetable garden, and we are going to be doing a lot of container planting. So stay tuned for that. So I'm going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to tell you all of the things we are starting, and then we will work our way into seed starting them. And I'm trying to be a little bit better with the timestamps and the description, so this way you can hop ahead to what you would like to see. So the first thing we are doing is some Yarrow. I had this for, I think, next weekend, but because I couldn't find my Gumfrina, I was like, no, we can start some Yarrow. I have a lot of Yarrow already in my landscape right now. I did last year a huge perennial strip by my fence line, and Yarrow was in it. And unfortunately, for whatever reason, I did these all with winter sowing, by the way, last year. I didn't get any first year blooms, so I'm really hoping this year they will take off. And I also fall planted some Yarrow as well, which I am hoping, with a huge Yarrow patch that I had to put fencing around so the bunny would stop mowing everything down. I'm hoping those will also pop up as well. I did purchase a Yarrow Colorado series. I don't know why I didn't have that. I did get some also from the nursery down the road. I think it's called like Tutti Frutti. There are these beautiful mauve pinks and lots of different pink colorways. So I'm excited for those to come. I planted them, and I kid you not, the next day, half of it was just eaten by the bunny. It wasn't even eaten. It was just nibbled on and just left there. So I had to put up some small fencing, and that seemed to do the trick, and I was able to harvest the rest. But I did do a humongous Yarrow patch over by my house. I do have a video on that if you would like to go and check it out. But today we are going to do the Colorado Sunset. These were supposed to be February 22nd, so that's next weekend, but I just grabbed them ahead of time. And I do have some white Yarrow left over. I am using some 40 count trays. Now, there are 50 seeds in here from the Gardener's Workshop. I can't guarantee myself to put 1 seed per plug. I usually like to do 2 or 3 just in case if something doesn't germinate, and then I can always tease them apart later if I have to. In my yarrow patch, I honestly just did big chunks of them and I left it like that. So we'll see how that goes. So if I do have some cells left over, which I most likely will, I am going to be pulling from Swallowtail some white yarrow to throw in there so that way I'm not wasting space in the tray. Moving on from the Gardener's Workshop, I also have Sweet Williams. Now, I did winter sow a lot of Sweet Williams last year. It was biennial. I didn't know at the time that there was different varieties of Sweet Williams, so I made sure to get the Amazon series. So today we are starting the Amazon Neon Purple and the Amazon Neon Cherry. I just love how bright they are. I'm not quite sure how they will work in my color palette because I feel like a lot of my flowers are like those pastel-y tones. So we will see how it goes with these. And our final variety that we are starting today is going to be Veronica. I was very intrigued when I saw photos of these. When I saw different bouquets being made, I always try and save like inspiration photos. And I was lucky enough that someone asked what that spiked flower was in a bouquet, and they said it was Veronica. So I have two different varieties. These are going to be from Swallowtail. I have the Sightseeing Mixture, and I also have the Pink Goblin. Now, there are 50 seeds per packet, and I'm going to attempt to put one per plug just because it is going to be a perennial, and then I'll double up a few of them. So I do also have some 40 count trays for these as well. I'm hoping with the Veronica to place it in two different areas. One for my cut flowers, and then the other one to leave as a perennial for my landscape. I do have a nice hydrangea wall up front, and I'm hoping to stagger these in with some of the cone flower that I put in. And I also had some dwarf zinnias that I had over there as well. It's like double ripple raspberry or something along those lines. And I saved a ton of seeds. So I'm hoping to put some of those up front as well, or in a little island that I have. And then whatever is left over, I will use for my cut flowers. But there's no guarantees that they are safe over there from being cut down and put into bouquets, because last year it was no flower left behind, so we'll see how we do this year. So we are going to start with the Veronica, and then we'll work our way to the other two varieties. And then tomorrow we will wrap things up with some more seed starting. With the Veronica, this is my first time, so I'm going to just go over what the seed packet said. These are from Swallowtail again. So the Pink Goblin variety, it says that they are long, rosy-like flower spikes in 16-inch tall plants. So these ones I'll probably have up front. It'll go really nice with the zinnias because they are pinks and whites. It says they attract butterflies, but they're also very good for cutting. And they do bloom from July to September, and they are a perennial. So I'm excited to add another perennial. I am trying to add more in. I know I did a lot last year, but I didn't do too many up front. So this will be a nice little addition. And it does say it's good for cutting, even though it's only 16 inches tall. It might be something better for my mason jars, even though I'm really going to try and have those wrapped bouquets as well. So let me know if you've grown the Pink Goblin and how tall they were. And also let me know if they worked well in your bouquets if you did grow them. So the next variety is the Sightseeing Veronica. Now this one is going to be a lot taller. It says it's anywhere from 2 to 2.5 feet tall. So we do have a lot more height there. So these I feel like will do better in my cut flower rows. They attract butterflies, and what I really enjoyed seeing on this packet was it is a first year flowering perennial, and they're winter hardy to zone 3, which is awesome. So it is zone 6 here in Massachusetts where I am growing. And with these, we are going to sow them into the 40 cell count trays. Like I said, I'm going to really try. I didn't even open them to see how small the seeds are. And we are going to grow them at 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, these are a perennial, and it does say it can take anywhere from 14 to 21 days to germinate. So we'll see where we put them. You know, I was also thinking of winter sowing them, but because they are a first year flowering perennial, I really wanted to get them started right now, just so they're a little bit more established when I put them out into the landscape. So let's get these started. All right, so I have our 40 cell count tray right here. We are going to start with the Pink Goblin. Now, these do need light to germinate, so I'm going to just surface sow them. And I made sure I went through today and I just pressed lightly down on everything. When they are small seeds and you have to surface sow them and they need light to germinate, you don't want them to get lost in your seed starting mix. However, I am actually using potting soil. I've been having really good luck with the Pro Mix variety. So I'm happy about that. I haven't had any issues with germination. They've all been germinating great. All right. Oh, yay. These are tiny seeds. Okay. You know what? I'm assuming we're probably going to actually only end up needing one tray because they are just so teeny tiny. I mean, these are like the size of snapdragons. And I mean, sometimes when I try and get those in, I get like 2 to 5, you know, sometimes even more. So since they are so small, I'm honestly thinking that I'll just need one tray instead of 2, which is totally fine. I don't mind when there's extra seeds in something. You can always prick them out and put them in like a 6 cell count. So I am just going to tamp them. What I like to do with these little baggies, because I just don't have time for the toothpick method, I just make a crease down the middle and then I just tap the sides and whatever falls in, and that's what we're going with. So let's get this Veronica in and then we'll see how far we get to it. And unfortunately, I only got 2 varieties. So if I have extra spacing, I guess we'll just have some extra blank cells. So let's see how we do. And so I'm just going to lightly tap. All right, let's see. All right, so we got 2 in that one. That one probably had 3. But you know what? It is what it is. If you're new here, I do all of my seed starting during nap time. So basically, I just get what I can done while my 2-year-old is sleeping. And I get pretty excited if I can complete a whole seed starting. All right, we might be doing okay here. Look at that, we made it past the halfway mark. We might actually luck out. And I'm going to try and do a seed starting update so you could see everything underneath my grow lights. I just have honestly not had the time. And then I do plan on trying to get my last of my winter sowing done. All right, come on guys. All right, there's some stuck in the corners. But I think I actually did pretty darn good. All right, let's see if we can get, there's 3 of them stuck. And look at that, I actually was able to do the whole entire tray. So I'm pretty pumped about that. All right, let's see here. There we go. It's like literally like specks of dust. Okay, we actually were able to get the whole entire thing, so that's great. So next up, I'm going to use my mister and I am going to spray them in. Now, because they're super small, I don't like to, you know, make sure they have good contact by using my hand or my finger. I will just spray them really in nicely. That will help with the contact. Then I'm gonna add a layer of vermiculite on top and then I'm going to spray them again. That way they'll get some good contact. Everything is pre-moistened, so I do that ahead of time. I just take my potting soil, add water, mix it in really well, and then I will just apply a nice little misting. So we have that. I still need to buy vermiculite. Somehow this is still surviving, but the burpee variety has been out of stock. So if you have a good suggestion on vermiculite, like a nice fine, let me know, especially if it has an Amazon link. I will be forever grateful because I just can't seem to figure out which one I want. And I was gonna go to Home Depot today and I just didn't have the chance to do so. But there is a Tractor Supply, so maybe they'll have something. All right, so nice little quick layer right here. And then I'm just going to mist everything back on. And this is going to be good to go. And then we're gonna do the next one. All right, 1 down, 1 to go. So we are all set now with the Veronica. I will be putting a humidity dome on top. They will be going onto a heat mat at some point, and then if I don't have room, If they just need to be at 65 degrees, again, this room stays pretty comfortable around there. They will take anywhere from 14 to 21 days to germinate, so we will definitely be keeping an eye on them. But now we are going to move on to Sweet Williams. So I did, as I mentioned earlier, plant a biennial, so hopefully we'll get some blooms this year. I did plant a lot of them at the school that I work at as well. So this time, after learning things, you know, I am still super new at this. This is my second year growing flowers for just the purpose of cut flowers. Before, I was growing flowers just to bring in the pollinators into my vegetable garden. So there's a lot that I'm learning, so I am no expert by any means. That's kind of why it's called Christy's Green Journey, is because I am still learning to grow literally one plant at a time. So we have a lot of new things. So Sweet Williams, we are doing the Amazon series because it will flower with its first year. I do have the neon purple and cherry. I got these from the gardener's workshop, so I'm super excited to get these started today. So we're kind of in good luck. This is another one that can take anywhere from 7 to 14 days to germinate. And it does say you can grow it from 65 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit. So you know what? I might be in luck and I can just put my 4-foot heat mat set at 65 degrees. So then everything's happy. Sweet Williams does require light to germinate. So we're going to do the same process as we just did with the Veronica. I'm just going to surface sow, water in, put vermiculite on, water in again. And these are going to be something super important to note, is that they have to grow on in cooler temperatures. So these will actually, once they germinate, they will be moved into my basement. I do have my ranunculus down there still. They're doing pretty well. I've forgotten to water them several times, and I've come downstairs and they're all like limp and just sad looking, but they do bounce back with some nice waterings. And then I do have a few, I think it's my echinops. I do have another perennial down there. I can't remember which one, if it was that or another variety. So these will also go down. I have some shop lights down there that I purchased from Costco this year, and it stays about 55 degrees down there. So when I was doing my research, it says when growing on to keep it between 50 and 55 degrees, and you want to avoid going over 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's get my Sweet Williams going. These are going to have about 25 seeds per packet, so I'm only going to do one 40 cell count tray. We'll split them up, and then a couple of them will just have doubled up. So let's get to it. So I have my 140 cell count tray here. Everything, again, is already pre-moistened. And we are going to start with the neon purple. And I made sure that I have all my plant tags. I've been doing pretty good keeping a record of when I am starting everything, so that way I can get back to it next year and also make note of it, how it went. So these are going to be pelleted seeds, my favorite. So at least it's going to be a little bit easier when it comes to making sure that they get in. So you know what? I have the purple right here, and then I'm going to just make a marker for the cherry so we can easily split this in half. And at least with the pelleted seeds, it is a lot easier, but they just take forever to break down, in my opinion. So I can make sure they have pretty good contact by just squishing them in. There we go. And we're gonna make sure, especially with the pelleted seeds, to help them break down that coating, I will definitely be missing these twice a day. You know, I'm trying to get a little bit better about being patient with the pelleted seeds after the Lisianthus, because I mean, I was like singing sweet nothings to them to grow, and then they all turned out pretty fine. And soon enough, I'm going to attempt potting them up. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so I have my 20, and I'm just going to try and space out a couple of the others. Like this one has 3, so I gotta try and pluck it out. But my goal is just that they're not on top of each other. That would be good. Our neon purple is all set. We're going to move on to the cherry variety. I really love these bold colors too, by the way. Even though I am trying to do a lot of pastels, I always like those fun pops of colors. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're just going to pop it on and then just lightly tap it in. There we go. And I'm actually happy that these have to grow on in cooler temperatures, because I'm starting to run out of a little bit of space. I mean, I have plenty of room. I just know that I have a lot still to grow, and with it being still so cold, I have an unheated Costco greenhouse, which I really do enjoy. It was nice to move like my perennials and some of my cool hardy annuals out there, or just start some seeds without having to do them inside. But it is just so cold right now. There is no way I can move anything out there, even if I wanted to. This time last year, I was winter sowing outside in a winter coat. It was nowhere near as cold. We have just had an extremely cold winter, and I am not excited about it. All right, we have all of our seeds on. That went so quickly. We're gonna mist them in, get our vermiculite on, and we are going to move on. Now with the pelleted seeds, I might just mist them in a little bit more, trying to help break down that coating. But these ones look a little stubborn. They are not melting away at all. But I'm really hoping I can show you what's under the grow lights, because we just have a lot. Our dahlia cuttings are starting to sprout, so I'm super excited about that. Well, I shouldn't say my dahlia cuttings. My tubers that I have woken up early so we can take cuttings. A lot of them are doing it. I think I lost one, and I think it was just one that was just so small to begin with. It was like this little skinny tuber. I didn't even think it had a chance. That one didn't make it, but other than that, they're all doing pretty good. In my basement right now, my dahlias are sitting at 56 degrees. I've been checking in on them. They're doing good. It's just still too cold in the garage, but I'm hoping once it warms up, we can move them out there. All right, so we have our Sweet Williams wrapped up right now, and then we are going to be moving on to our Yarrow. All right, let's move on to our Yarrow. So we've made it to Yarrow, and my little one is still sleeping, so that is great news. Again, we are starting the Colorado Sunset variety, and then I do have a white variety left over from Swallowtail. I know that sometimes like they'll still do good and then they'll reseed themselves. I just want to make sure I have a really good established patch, because I just love how much space it takes up in a bouquet. I let some in my garden go to seed, and then I just cut the tops off and I just crushed them in my hand and sprinkled them around, and figured, you know what? If I'm lucky enough, some of them will sprout, and I just figured, why not try? And I did save some to winter, so I think, again, it was called Tutti Frutti. They were just like these beautiful colors. And I couldn't help myself. I think I bought like 6 or 8 plants. I can't remember, but I did do a whole entire video on that. You should definitely check it out. With Yarrow, we are going to do the same thing. We're going to surface sow, and I kid you not, I am in just such good luck, because it does say that Yarrow can be kept at 60 to 65 degrees for germination. So I think we're going to be good. I'm just going to plug in this heat map behind me, set it at 65 degrees, and I have just like a little tripod. It has like 3 different lights that kind of like sprawl out, kind of like different legs. It does pretty good. It gets the job done. I usually will put things that don't really need light to germinate, but I can always just move them over to my other grow rack if needed. But it's just like a nice spot to get things started. And then if I need to finish up, I can just put them onto my main racks. These can take anywhere from 10 to 20 days to germinate. I don't remember what it was last time. And last time I even saved seeds from, I kid you not, a bouquet that I had from graduation. So I teach preschool, and I had so many beautiful fresh flower bouquets for my students for graduation. And I did let some of them go to seed, and one of them was Yarrow, and I just saved them. And I crushed them up on top of some soil, and I had some, I think it was like 12 cells in like a tray. And I just loaded them up just as a little experiment, and I had so many. So I just planted those out in chunks in the fall. So I was really thrilled with that. And I think I might still have some left over. But I think Yarrow is something that you just like can't have too much of. I mean, I don't know. Again, this is only my 2nd year, so don't hold me to anything. And I'm no expert by any means, so take that into account too. But I have so much fun sharing with you my little adventure into gardening. So let's get our Yarrow going, and then we're gonna wrap up today. So with the Yarrow, I'm going to start the Colorado Sunset mix first, and then whatever is left over, then I will just fill in with the white. It's just gonna be kind of holding in some of those extra cells, because these are super small. Again, you can definitely use a toothpick. I just take this little baggie, make a crease down the middle, and hope for the best. I mean, with some of the seeds that I did. I think I had like 5 in them, and I was just like, nah, we're good. All right, and then I just kind of like to shimmy them down a little bit because sometimes they do get stuck. So let's see how we do here. Except they don't want to come down. All right, here we go. And I like that these seeds are white. You can actually see them up against the soil. Again, this is all pre-moistened. I kind of would rather have like 2 per cell. I never like putting in 1. You just never know if something won't germinate, and I don't want to, I mean, you can always prick them out too and fill in empty spaces. I was actually doing that with snapdragons the other day. I had a few extra minutes. Oh, look at that. We're already done. So we, oh, no, we're not. They're stuck in the corner. So we almost made it halfway. Actually, we made it a little over halfway. All right, I think I got all of them. So we'll have these last 3 will be of the white. And I think I have a lot more of those left. These ones are going to be from Swallowtail that I did with some fall planting. Holy manoles, I have a lot of seeds. You know what? I could winter sow these. I am really hoping I have time to winter sow on Monday. So maybe I can start more of these because I could also use this at the school that I teach at, because I'm going to try and get rid of, I mean, I really enjoyed my zinnia patch, but we have so many daylilies that I would love to just rip out. If you like daylilies, sorry, but I just can't. They just take up so much space, and then you can't see like the zinnias or anything smaller. So maybe I can winter sow a couple of the white variety for the school that I work at. All right, and that was super quick, and I have so many. So I'm gonna put that in my winter sowing pile, and then we should be good to go. There's a couple of other things I decided to winter sow, like I think my goldenrod, I'm probably gonna move in there. I have a bunch more coneflower, which I'm super excited. I do have 18 jugs ready to go, but I also am going to be teaching another workshop for winter sowing. The first one was such a success, and a lot of people were sad they couldn't make it, but we're going to be doing it in mid-March because we are going to be doing our warm-loving annuals, so like celosia, zinnias, marigolds I'm gonna be bringing. Then I also have some seeds to share with our seed bank, so that will be really fun to do as well. All right, we're going to pop on our vermiculite, and then I mean, I do research beforehand, but I do it during my nap time or my lunch break at work when I try and find all of the seed starting stuff that I need to know beforehand. But that was like on a Monday because we've had so much like Valentine prep to do. We put on a Valentine performance our school. So I honestly don't even remember. And sometimes I do it like, you know, I give myself 5-10 minutes if I am lucky in the morning as well. So I'm just so excited. All right, so we're gonna get this watered in, and then we're gonna be all set for today. And then tomorrow we will start peppers, and then possibly gomphrena if I can find it, which I know is super early, but I don't know what it was with last year. I just really remember they took forever to take off, and I was like, I'm never gonna be able to plant them out. I did plant them out weeks after I was hoping for because they were just so small, and they just didn't do good. So we're gonna try gomphrena again. And then what else do I have? Peppers. Oh, and then I do have my oregano. So we'll see if we can get to all of that as well. So yeah, we're good to go. Let's get the humidity domes on. We'll get them on this heat mat right here, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all set up. Here is my second heat mat. So I do have another 4-foot one here, and then I have these. It works pretty darn good on this tripod. It will stay at 65 degrees until we see some germination, and we'll move them off. We are all set to go. We have everything on this heat mat right over here. It works perfectly fine. We're gonna keep it at around 65 degrees. Everything takes anywhere from 7 to 21 days. So it'll be a nice little spot for them to stay cozy over there. And we will go in and make sure that we mist them at least twice a day until we see some germination. I usually like to keep everything on the heat mat until about 75% or more of the cells have germinated. And sometimes I risk it and I wait until everything has popped up, but that doesn't always tend to happen. That's also why I like to kind of overseed just in case something doesn't germinate. So if you would like to stay tuned and see how everything is growing, we have a lot more going on this Valentine's weekend. Go ahead and click like and subscribe and hit that bell button, and I'll see y'all next time. Happy gardening. Bye.